What's up, guys? Welcome to the Honest Podcast. Um, I want to talk to you guys about something serious today. I was drinking some tea earlier. I had some lemon ginger tea. If you've been watching my channel, you know I'm a big tea drinker, and that's what I was drinking tonight. I usually add lemon to it, but it was lemon ginger, which means it already had lemon, so I didn't have to add it. Um, I drunk it straight up. It's good like that. It's pretty good tea. If you ever get the opportunity to drink it and you're a tea drinker, it's called lemon ginger. Um, guys, there's there's a couple things that you have to have some rules that you live by, guys. You can't just live your life like it's a free for all. You have to have some rules how you live your life. You have to have some guidelines, and you have to have some principles. A man without principles, I will argue, is not a man at all. A man has to have a line that he's just not going to cross, a line that he's not going to step over. Um, that's what makes a man a man. A man is someone who has principles and who lives by those principles. Because outside of principles, guys, you're not a man at all. And in fact, you're less than a man. That's what separates good men from bad men, or men from men who aren't men. Just be You're not a man just because of what's between your legs. You're a man because of how you live your life and the principles that you stand by. And you have to live your life with a set of principles, whether it be professionally, with friends, socially, in your relationships. Number one, if you're gonna be a man, you can't let a woman walk all over you, guys. You hear this famous thing all the time: nice guys finish last, or women don't like nice guys. And this is both of those statements. Well, the statement women don't like nice guys is definitely a true statement. Not to be taken simply at face value. We can dig deep into that and figure out reasons why that is. Nice guys finish last. That's kind of a blanketed statement. What I would say is guys that don't live by principles finish last. You have to have principles, guys. And in a relationship, you never let a woman walk all over you. You stand on your principles. You don't let a woman push you, take you over a line that you're not, that your principles say it's not okay to cross. Um, and a lot of us don't live by principles. We, for whatever reason, when we get into these relationships with women, or we get into these certain situations, man, we just fold. And that's where that nice guys finish last thing comes into play. Um, Letting someone get their way all the time does not make you a nice guy. It actually makes you a man that has no backbone. It makes you a man that lacks courage. It makes you a man who has no principles. So we have to live by principles, guys. And one of the principles that I live by is you never kick a man when he's down. Ever. You don't do that. When a man is down and a man is at his lowest, you don't kick dirt on that man. Um, Everybody don't live by these principles, but as a man, this is a principle I live by, because this life is filled with peaks and valleys. You're going to have ups and downs. Sometimes you're going to be down, sometimes you're going to be up. I think most of the time in life we kind of float in the middle, kind of stay in the middle like an even kill. And then you have those times, man, where you're in a peak, and you're up, and things are just, everything's going right, everything's clicking professionally, romantically, and you're just doing all the right things. And then you have those times when you're in a valley where nothing seems to be going right. You're in a bad relationship, or maybe you're not in one, or maybe you just came out of a bad one. You may not be doing too well professionally. You may have some problems in your family, and we've all been there, guys. You could be sick, you can get an illness, anything can happen. But One principle I definitely live by is you never kick a man when he's down. I never kick a man when he's at his lowest point because if you ever been there before, you know it's not a great place to be. Unfortunately, all men don't live by these principles, and we're seeing that even more today than we've ever seen before. One of the hardest things, guys, that I can ever watch is it's actually two things. One of the hardest things that I could watch is seeing children suffer, like seeing kids born with debilitating diseases and going through their lives with just the with conditions you can just not even fathom as a person who has no disabilities and who has all their senses and who has no kind of debilitating illness or anything like that, no kind of handicap. And the other thing, guys, that I have a hard time watching is to see a grown man cry because most men are extremely prideful guys. You know that. I'm no different, though I do try to work on that. We're very prideful. We're extremely prideful. So when you see a man break down and actually start crying, like it's one of the hardest things I can ever watch because of so much pride that men have in general. When a man gets to the point where he just starts crying, especially in front of other people, you know the situation is just dire and desperate at that point. And it's very hard to watch. In fact, when I watch a video or see a man crying, I barely ever finish it. I barely ever watch it to the end. It's very rare. I usually cut it off in the middle or if I even make it that far. But excuse me guys. But I yawned. But it's a very difficult thing for me to watch. I never watch it all. I usually get through maybe a quarter of it. I'm lucky to get through a half, and if I can even make it through half of the video, I consider that a win. But to see a grown man just break down and cry, whether it be over his family, his kids, his marriage, him losing his job, this not being able to provide for his family, not having money. I mean, it's one of the most heartbreaking, gut gut wrenching things that you can ever witness. And it takes so much for a man to get to that place where he just abandons all of his pride and all of his dignity, and he just lets loose. Like he's at that point where he can't even get to a personal place where he can be by himself and break down. He just breaks down in front of everybody, regardless of who's there, regardless of who sees him. And that's one of the most heartbreaking, gut wrenching things that I can watch. So I'm very sensitive to that. I'm very sensitive to a man that's at the end of his rope or a man that's just down. He's at his lowest point. And unfortunately, guys, we have other men that don't live by these principles. But that's a principle of mine. I don't kick a man when he's down. Now, if you ask women, guys, women, they really don't care, guys. I'm just going to be honest with you. And I'm not saying all women, but today most women don't care about the plights of how a man feels. Of course, you still have some women out there that would see that and be bothered by that, but for the most part, guys, we're not looked at the same way when we're at our lowest point the way women are. And in fact, when we're at our lowest point, we even have some men that don't even care about men that are at their lowest point. And the reason why I'm bringing this up is because there's a video circulating around about a man I used to work with, Sean Combs. He had a reality show with him. He was a rapper, part of a rap group, and fast forward today, he made a video, and he was saying some really just disturbing stuff about how he's been doing, how he's been struggling, battling depression, contemplating suicide, just some really gut wrenching things. And one thing I just find odd is that everyone that seems to have done business with Sean Combs has always come out, or you can call him Puffy. I call him by his real name. But everyone who's done business with him have always seemed to come out with the short end of the stick, or with not good things to say about him. And when you just start going down a list of groups and individuals that are just having the same outcomes and saying the same things about the same individual, you have to stop looking at these individuals and start looking at the person. I personally started looking at Sean Combs years ago. I've already made up my mind about him based off of what other people have said. Now, obviously, I don't know the man personally, so my observation of him is definitely from afar. But I just look at his relationships with people and what people have to say about him. There's certain people, when you bring up their names, it's just, you have people falling all over themselves to say how warm this person is, to say how compassionate this person is, to say how good of a friend this person is. But when you have lines of people that are just lining up and they're saying you're an asshole, or they're saying, you're greedy, or they're saying you're unethical, and they're just saying all this, you're scandalous, and they're saying all these things about you. At some point, you have to start looking at the person and stop deflecting and trying to say, well, that's just business, because a lot of people do business, but I don't hear these same terms being thrown at like Warren Buffett, who's a businessman. I've never heard these terms being thrown at Peter Lynch, who was a businessman. And for those of you who don't know who Peter Lynch is, he was a huge hedge fund. He ran a hedge fund back in the 80s and 90s. His name's Peter Lynch. He was one of the greatest investors of all time. Before Warren Buffett, there was Peter Lynch. He ran a fund called the Contra Fund. Anyway, you can look at different people, and when you talk to people who have close, intimate relationships with these people, or even people who are acquaintances, they have nothing but nice things to say about people, about certain individuals. And then you have some individuals, when you talk to people close within their inner circle and people who've done business with them or who are acquaintances, they just have all kinds of negative things to say. So this situation is what actually brought me to do this podcast, because what I'm seeing now and what I'm noticing is we have a bunch of men out there today that they don't have principles. They don't have principles, and they just don't have lines that they won't cross. Obviously, people are free to have their opinion, and they're free to live by whatever principles they set themselves up to live by. But there was a lot of different discord and a lot of different reactions to this guy named Freddy coming out and sharing the things that he shared. Some people sympathized with him. Some people blamed him, said he was a bum, and said all other kinds of crazy stuff that people can and will say when they're on the internet. But what I'm trying to tell you guys is that you have to decide what kind of man you want to be. You have to decide what your principles are. You have to decide the line that you're not going to cross. And this is what's going to define you as a man. Me, I'll never kick a man when he's down, especially when he's at his lowest point. Because it's at that point that man needs... When that man is at his lowest point, it's at that point where that man needs someone to pull him up. I don't know if you ever been there before, guys, but when you're at your lowest point, it's so hard to pick yourself up. Like, you just need somebody who just cares, that'll just give you a phone call, come by, sit down with you, have a talk, have a conversation, have some words of wisdom, some way they can just uplift you. But you have some people, the further you fall down, the more they kick you, the more dirt they're just dumping on top of you. Um, and these are the type of people I tend to try to stay away from. You can't control the world, but you can definitely control your circle. You can definitely control the type of people you let in and the type of people you let out of your life. And this is a principle. This is something that I'll never bend from. You don't kick a man when he's down. And if I recognize that kind of character trait in someone who that I'm close to, then I have to create distance, because at any point in my life I can be that man that's down on my luck. I can be that man that's in a hole. I can be that man that needs a encouraging word, a wisdom, someone to stick out their hand, a conversation or something, maybe even a damn hug. Yeah, I said maybe even a damn hug, because men, we don't get the support when we're going through things that women get. We don't get the same type of support. We don't have groups coming out sticking up for us. We don't have a bunch of other men in general, I mean, coming around trying to lift us up. We don't have people going on TV talking about our issues, or trying to support us through different ordeals. So when I see that in a person that's close to me, I have to create distance with that person. Because if I'm down and I'm low and I'm at my lowest point, I know you're not the type of person I can count on or that I can lean on. And at the end of the day, guys, this life we have is about relationships. And it ain't just all about laughing and going on trips. This is about, if I need you at my weakest and toughest moment as my friend, are you going to be there? Can I count on you to be there? Can I count on you to help me? Can I count on you to give me some encouragement, a word of encouragement? And I'm talking about as far as man to man. So this is a principle of mine, and I won't break it. I won't break it. This is not a principle that's we have a term, in the profession that I work in, where we have documents, and we call these documents and procedures and processes, they're living documents, meaning they can change. They can change next week. They could change next month. As technology changes, these documents change. They need to be updated. Things need to be added in. Things need to be taken out. But a person's principles, your principles as a man, should be set in stone, like the Ten Commandments. It's not something that changes. You don't have a principle that say you're going to be honest and you're going to tell a person the truth and look them in the eye, and then you change this principle and say you're going to be honest, tell a person the truth, look them in the eye, accept, and you start coming up with all these side things to try to bend that principle. Your principles have to be hard coded. They have to be etched in stone. They have to be a pillar, because this is what makes you the person that you are. So guys, I'm telling you, I don't know what kind of principles you have out there, guys, but if you can't write down your principles and the way you live your life, then you need to start coming up with some. Because without these pillars, without these principles in your life, you're just going through life. I'm not going to say empty, but you're like a piece of paper that's blowing in a breeze. You're just blowing to the left, blowing to the right. You have no direction. Your principles is going to direct your life. Not only is it going to direct your life, but it'll also determine the type of people you let in your life, and the type of people you're going to repel from your life. Because the way you live your life is going to be a magnet to what you attract. So it's vital that you have principles, guys. And if you don't have this principle, allow me to impart it on you now. We all go through things in this life. At some point, if you haven't been through anything, you will be. It can be a bad breakup. It can be a divorce. It can be child custody. It can be a death. It can be loss of employment, loss of a home. It can be cancer. It can be a handicap. It can be a disability. At some point, you're going to go through. It can be a addiction, drug addiction, porn addiction, alcohol addiction, food addiction. At some point, you're going to go through something, and you're going to come to a place where you need help. You need someone else to help you because everything you've known to do to help yourself has failed, and you just don't know what else to do. And you need someone else to give you some words of wisdom and to give you a hand. And when you get to that point, you're going to want someone that's going to be around, that's going to be able to do that, that's going to be able to help you up, that's going to be able to encourage you and not kick you down further. So if this is not a principle that you have as a man, I hope that you can impart this principle into your character, because it's life changing, guys. I'm telling you, this is something that's life changing. Never kick a man when he's down. Always help a man if you can, if you're in a position to do it when they're at their lowest points. At their lowest point in life, I'm telling you, because if that ever is you, there will be somebody there to help you out. There will be somebody there to pick you up. I hope this helps somebody out there, guys. Thanks for tuning in on this podcast. I'll talk to you soon.
Like, because I asked you to leave because you did not pay your rent. I asked you to leave my house. I wasn't evicting you. I didn't want to even put an eviction on your record. I just asked you to leave my house and you do this shit? Like, because I asked you to leave my house and you wouldn't leave, talking about, Timmy, you gonna have to take me to court? You do all this though? Like, I ain't never did shit to you, never. I gave your bitch ass a place to live when nobody else will give you a place to live. And you tear my shit up. Ain't no scam, bitch, because ain't no insurance on this motherfucker. This really come out my pocket, bitch. You gotta have insurance to pull a scam, dumb bitch. Like, you did this shit to me because I asked you to pay me my money? I work hard every motherfucking day. I go to work and stay the fuck out the way. I don't bother no motherfucking body. I didn't care if you and your nigga was in this bitch selling drugs, doing whatever the fuck you was doing. I didn't give a fuck. I told you, long as you keep my house up and pay me my rent, I wasn't gonna fuck with y'all. Ain't no landlord doing that shit. Because I know y'all gotta feed y'all family like I gotta feed mine, bitch. This is what the fuck y'all do to people. I swear to God on my mama, bitch, if I see you, I'm going to prison. And that's on my kids. I'll shoot you dead in your motherfucking face, bitch. I'm mad as a motherfucker. I'd kill this bitch if I seen her. On my soul, I would. I'm mad as fuck. My motherfucking tenants called me and asked me for $2,000, and I give it to him. Like this, I'm not that type of motherfucker. This is fucked up. This bitch bogus. Bro, I'm so motherfucking mad. I swear to God. On my mama, I'm mad, bro. If I see this bitch, I'd kill this bitch. On my soul, I would. I'd kill this bitch. I'd do anything for people. I work hard for the shit I got so I can feed my kids and leave my kids something. I could be doing any motherfucking thing out here. I go to work and take care of my motherfucking kids. I don't go out. I don't do shit. Fuck ass bitch. Man, I'm mad as fuck. This is why people be fucking people up. I swear to God. This is people fuck people up. I'm so mad. They know. Whew. Lord God, I'm so thankful I moved out of Racine, because if I could have got to this bitch while she was doing it, it'd be some flower bringing in. Ooh, man, I would have killed that bitch. I would have beat her and her kids up. I would have killed them all. On my mama, I would have. She had them little ghetto, badass, ugly motherfuckers running around here with a hammer, busting my shit out. Punk ass bitch. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Whew. Lord, keep me. Lord, I need to calm the fuck down. But I know I gotta start getting this shit up and secure this house. I'm so motherfucking mad. Look at this bitch.